How much money do you need to buy a 2 to 4 unit with a VA loan? This is part two. The thing is, most people ask the wrong question. They ask, how much income do I need to buy a duplex, triplex, or fourplex with the VA loan? That's a fair question. But the better question is, who is helping me structure the deal so that I don't have to actually bring money to the table? After all, it is a VA loan, zero down. That's one of the biggest benefits. But if it's not structured correctly with the right advisor, it's useless, because this is where I'm seeing a lot of veterans get hurt. Not because the VA loan is bad, which is what they want to put out there after they had a bad experience, because in actuality, the VA loan is very powerful, but does not mean it's automatic. You still have to have the right advisor, and the zero down does not always mean that it's exactly $0 out of pocket. That is where the difference in your advisor matters. And I'm not just talking about getting you approved. That's easy. That's elementary. I'm talking about understanding the real numbers in a VA 2 to 4 unit deal. The VA funding fee is something you have to understand wholly. Seller concessions, prepaids, uh, closing costs, the difference between those, and then also how rents are calculated and underwritten. So whether you're an agent or a lender, you need to get with somebody who knows how to structure the offer for the benefit of the veteran, instead of just throwing numbers on a contract and hoping underwriting blesses it. Because here's the part a lot of people online skip. The VA funding fee can be thousands of dollars, but depending on the veteran, it may be reduced. It can be financed into the deal or eliminated entirely. If the veteran has a qualifying service-connected disability, they may be exempt. If they are not exempt, the funding fee may still be financed into the loan instead of paid out of pocket. That one detail alone can change the cash to close conversation for the veteran. Then you have seller concessions. This is where a lot of agents and lenders get quiet because they don't fully understand the differences, and they don't understand the difference between a normal closing cost credits, seller concessions, and prepaids. And yes, there is a difference. Okay, so closing costs are things like lender fees, title charges, recording fees, appraisal fees, and other transaction costs. Prepaids, on the other hand, are things you are paying in advance, like property taxes, homeowners insurance, and prepaid interest. Seller concessions are extra items of value the seller contributes to help the buyer, and the VA has a separate limit on each of those. This matters because if your advisor does not know or understand the bucket that the cost falls into, they may structure the offer wrong. And when the offer is structured wrong, the veteran usually is the one who ends up bringing money to the closing that could have been reduced, covered, negotiated, or planned upfront. That is why I keep saying this is not just whether you can use a VA loan on a 2 to 4 unit property. That answer is unequivocally yes, you can use it. The key thing is getting an advisor who knows how to structure it, because the real game is knowing how to structure the deal. Can the seller help with costs? Can the funding fee be financed? Is the veteran exempt? Are we using concessions correctly? Are we separating prepaids from true closing costs? Are we calculating the rental income correctly? Are we using 75% of the rents where appropriate? Does the veteran have landlord experience? Does the lender require reserves? Can the veteran qualify without counting rental income at all? That's the conversation that the advisor needs to be having. And if they're not prepared or educated to, bless them. They need to get some help. Call me if they're not asking you these questions. Call me if you have a scenario. And so it's not just can you buy a fourplex with zero down, because if you walk into the wrong lender with the wrong agent with the wrong structure, zero down can still turn into, hey vet, you got to bring 10, 15, $20,000 to the table. And now everybody is looking confused and starting to put bad press out about the VA loan, not because it's bad, just because they didn't know how to structure it. And I want real estate agents, specifically veteran realtors, to understand this too. Because if you are serving veterans and you don't know the difference between the funding fee, the concessions, the prepaids, closing costs, and the rent calculations on a 2 to 4 unit VA purchase, you're leaving strategy on the table. So part one I did was how much money do you need? Part two is who is helping you make sure you are not bringing money you didn't have to the table. That's the difference. The VA loan is the tool, the structure, and your advisor is the strategy, and the correct advisor is your leverage. Comment fourplex, and I'll send you my 2 to 4 unit VA buying guide, and I'll answer any questions you have. Aaron B. Lewis, be blessed.